What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Today in the comments we have a very special comments because if you don't know, my state has turned into Alabama. Yes, they have wanted to pass a really horrible anti-abortion law that's, making a headway for what I consider to be like a Christian theocracy. If you don't know, these laws are going up everywhere across America right now, so it's a pretty important issue and I want to respond to some of the dumb fucks in these comments. But first, we have to crown the winner for Dumbass last week. And last week's Dumbass was this dumbass right here. Yes, you, with the long diatribe and talking about how the sun and the moon are spotlights. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? Oh yeah, you're not, because you're a fucking flat earther, plus crazy-ass Christian. If you happen to pick this dumbass last week, then you win 1,000,000 God points. Remember, these God points are a lot like trusting Trump not to send us into a war for no reason. Speaking of dipshits, this week we have a whole lot of dumbasses out there, and they live in my state. So we're going to be going through a number of comments that were left on a local news post about the abortion law passing here in Alabama. And I want to directly respond to these people. They're not going to know who they are in these things, and I've crossed out the names and whatnot because I don't want people harassing them. But, I mean, damn, these are some dense motherfuckers. So, if you want to hear what the dumbasses in Alabama are saying about the abortion law, then please stay tuned. But first, as you guys know, we have to do Today I learned of Pope John VII. He was the only pope who was ever beaten to death by a jealous husband for sleeping with his wife. He was also accused of turning the papal palace into a brothel, sleeping with his niece, toasting the devil, and ordaining a 10-year-old boy, and misusing papal funds to pay gambling debts. Whew! So, I don't know. I don't know if this is like worse than the popes that have been fined with like the priests molesting little kids. I don't know if it's like on par or something, but this was pretty bad. This guy was like, the fucking Donald Trump of popes. That's who Pope John VII was. The Donald Trump of popes. Next on Today I learned about the joke behind NASA's Juno mission. While Jupiter's moons are named after the god's many mistresses, Juno, the space probe sent to orbit and monitor Jupiter, is named after his wife. Wow! That's what you get for having so many mistresses. You're gonna have a wife that wants to know when you're fucking them. Because I'm sure that she knew about the mistresses. I mean, I don't know. At that point in time, it was like kind of standard for guys to have like multiple wives and mistresses and concubines and all that other kind of shit. So it doesn't really surprise me that he had them, but I love the joke here that they played. And finally, on Today I learned that the directors of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Baby Driver consulted each other to make sure that the films would not have the same songs on their soundtracks. And the fact that they actually coordinated that to make sure that they weren't going to be stepping on each other's toes, I don't know. I mean, that's like really nice, in this day and age, because I could see how one place would want to like dominate the other movie or something like that. I don't know, but I like how they worked together to make sure that they weren't overlapping. But even if they did overlap, I don't understand like why it would be a problem other than it might mess with like record sales maybe? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Out of Context Comics. This one I found on Reddit this week, but I definitely would love to see you guys give me some comics, like either on Twitter or Facebook, wherever you guys can find me. I would love to see what you guys can come up with. Chrismer, he usually gives me some good ones. This time though, I found this on Reddit, and it's got the one panel off to the left saying, "For Christ's fucking sake," and then the guy on the ground's like, "Oh." And then for some fucking reason, this guy's down there with his pants hanging half off his ass. And he says, okay, true believer, it's buggering time. And I don't, is he gonna fuck the guy on the ground? Like, is he, not fuck, he gonna rape the guy on the ground? I mean, I don't know. But he looks menacing, so it's probably rape. Whew. Gotta love those risky comics. You guys know what time it is? Shitty ass science! We're gonna get some science shit really wrong. Alright, some shitty ass science. Are you guys ready? I am. Is this horse part xenomorph? Oh shit. Yes, that is called a xeno-horse. Or maybe a horse morph or something like that. I don't know. But basically, y'all know in like the Alien versus Predator thing where the aliens infect the predators and there's a predalien or some kind of shit. Same fucking thing, except the alien latched onto a horse and now you've got a xeno-horse. They're all over the country and they're gonna take over one day and be our xeno-horse overlords. And we're gonna have to serve them and become hosts for their little horse babies and shit. But then again, that's not how xenomorphs work, because as soon as they implant their eggs into us, we'll turn into like centaurs. And that's how centaurs are born. Fuck yes, we figured it out, guys. We're doing real science today. This is how centaurs are born, okay? So the xenomorphs, they came to Earth and they infected all the horses. And then the horses started laying eggs out of their assholes, just shitting them right out on the ground. And then us, as lowly humans, we came by, looked at them, and then... and we got attacked by them, right? Well, they implanted into us, and since they're already horse morphs, now they're going to turn into centaur morphs. And we're basically alien, human, horse hybrids. Oh, that's how it all started. The Greeks were right, guys! No, but seriously, you know how I love these kind of like opportunity-based pictures. They're so cool to actually get, like, it's just so cool how chance happens. Like, you would think that this was like orchestrated or something, but quite possibly, more probably, it was just random chance that it happened. And I love that. Oh, that's it for all the fun stuff. Now we gotta get to the comments of the day. Prepare to facepalm yourself in the next week. And you definitely will facepalm yourselves in the next week, as well as shit yourself at the same time this week, because, boy, we got some dumbasses today. There are a lot of dumbasses here in Alabama, but there are a good number of reasonable people, like this person right here. I personally don't believe in abortions. That's why I don't get one. But my belief shouldn't infringe on any woman's rights. It's not my place to judge, and abortions will happen regardless of if it's legal or not. I'd rather the clinics be clean and safe. And that's a really good and reasonable opinion and position to have. But... not everybody is like that here in Alabama, or else it wouldn't be called fucking Alabama. The people that agree with abortion are the people that the best part of them was the stain left on the mattress. Whoa, yeah, those are heavy words there. I mean, honestly, coming from a shit stain herself, I don't really think you should judge. Also, if a woman wants it, then they should take the baby making parts out also, because I know some people that has had 2 or 3 abortions. Oh, okay, Miss, I don't even know if it's a miss. It might have been a guy. Who gives a fuck? Your solution is that people should just have hysterectomies if they don't want to have kids? Are you fucking serious right now? Like, goddamn. Like, this goes beyond restricting the rights of women. This is like, oh, hey, just take all the shit out. And then you just won't, you won't have the chance anymore, even if you change your mind later. You always have to have it in mind to have kids in life. Otherwise, you shouldn't be able to fucking get them. Like, seriously, bro? I don't get people like this. I really don't. Also, there's been a lot of pushing this whole idea that women use abortion as birth control. And while that may be like less than 1% of the cases, this whole, oh, I know somebody that's had 2 or 3 abortions. For one thing, you don't know the circumstances surrounding all of those abortions. They could be medically necessary, or they could just have trouble getting pregnant in general, and they have like ectopic pregnancies or whatever. Like, there could be several reasons around those. But also, regardless of however many abortions a single person has, you shouldn't restrict the ability to the ability to have all rights to your body in general. That shouldn't be restricted just because you know a person. Well, if you are not happy with our laws in Alabama, then pack up and leave. You know what's funny is that whenever their Christian values are limited or whatnot in the public spaces or in the government or whatnot, the go-to is never, hey, you might as well go ahead and move. Like, that's never the go-to thing. Or this person would definitely not be like, well, I'm just going to move the fuck right out of this state. If my kid can't sing God Bless America and pray at the same time across the loudspeakers at school, I'm just gonna move to a state where I can do that. Like, they're never gonna be that person. Thank God. We might be getting our old Alabama back. At least a step in the right direction. Thank you, Jesus. Hold up there, Karen, on sucking the Jesus dick now. Jesus didn't do shit, okay? This were legislators and lobbyists here in Alabama that made this shit fucking bill pass. It's also dipshits like you that got the bill to pass, because the legislators think that dipshits like you represent the whole of Alabama. Also, what does it mean to get our old Alabama back? Are you talking about the Alabama where you're to stay at home, not work, and not be able to vote? Like, not cast your vote? I mean, in this situation, I would think that you would want to cast your vote so you can restrict the rights of all women across Alabama. But it seems like you want the old Alabama back, where you don't get any kind of vote in or say in anything. For those of you so upset over our great state standing up for babies' rights, one thing, fetuses are not babies. They're not viable. While they may be human in some sense, they are not babies. They are fetuses. They can't live outside the womb. All we hear is rape, incest. They still have a little pill called the morning after. And just what are the numbers of abortion because of either of those? In our state, I'll pray for all who have had one. You are never the same. Thanks, Alabama, for giving a voice to the voiceless. You ever think that maybe they're voiceless because they don't actually have vocal cords yet? That shit hasn't developed. Not even by the time this whole fetal heartbeat thing has happened, which I'll have a link down below to a really good video that talks about the fetal heartbeat and how it's a bullshit line to draw in the sand. Also, the statistics that you're not really willing to go out and look at, they don't support your side of things. Actually, they support the opposite. The Planned Parenthood and several other agencies have done plenty of statistics on abortions and their effects. And you know what effect the widespread accessibility of abortion is? Abortion actually goes down with areas of increased access to abortion. Yeah, it's kind of odd how that works out, huh? Also, this is a good time to bring up that if you want to hear more about the statistics here in Alabama and statistics in general, yesterday or the previous day, this week on the Skeptic Mafia podcast, Casey and I actually went over those. So if you would like to go and become a Skeptic Mafia member, just hit that join link right here on the watch page or go to joinskepticmafia.com. You can hear us discuss and really break down all these statistics, as well as other stories that have occurred in the past few weeks, or really just the past week or two in the community. If murder is illegal, why is abortion not illegal? Like I already said, a life is a life. Okay, for one thing, murder is legal. Abortion is not murder, though. So your logic's fucked. Number two, I like how you say that a life is a life when we still execute people in this state. It seems like you're pro-birth and not really pro-life. Let's say I have a 1-year-old and felt like I couldn't cope with being a mother anymore, or it's too stressful for me and an inconvenience now to my life. It shouldn't be no problem for me to go to my doctor for help because all women should have the option / right to kill an unwanted child, right? Or does that only apply to a child in the womb? Whew, there's so many things here. Okay, for one thing, a 1-year-old child is not a fucking fetus. God damn it. And if you can't cope with being a mother anymore, you can give up your child for adoption. You can give up all parental rights, and that child can be adopted into a home that's loving and caring and will raise that child well. There is that option. The option of killing that kid is not on the table, because guess what? That's a fucking child, whereas a fetus in the womb is not. Now, in case you guys didn't know, to throw some statistics in here that are actually worthwhile hearing, most abortions occur before the 13-week mark. And when I say most, I mean an overwhelming majority. Like 95% of all abortions occur before 13 weeks, with 65% occurring before the 8-week mark. So the fact that they've drawn a line in the sand at heartbeats that start about 6 weeks into gestation, I mean, it's effectively banning all abortions. That's why it's been called an effective ban on abortions. Also, for like the first 4 weeks, you don't even know you're fucking pregnant. If you don't want kids, either take the pill, get the shot, get fixed, or keep your legs closed. Okay, well see, this is how the Alabama law is actually unique and is one of the most restrictive, because it doesn't actually include exceptions for rape or incest. Now, you just saying, keep your legs closed, or do all these other fucking things, you saying that really fails to grasp the actual issue with the situation, because all women should have access to abortion if they so choose, because it's a personal decision for them. But also, the Alabama law actually restricts like young girls from getting an abortion if they get raped by their uncle, or women that get raped in general and they don't want a kid. Also, if you didn't know, birth control, like the shot or the pill, doesn't work 100% of the time, fucker. Shit can happen and you can accidentally get pregnant. But you think that that woman should be forced to have the child. That's pretty shitty if you ask me. I wouldn't force you to do anything against your will like that. But yet, you think it's incumbent upon you to force somebody to have a child, even if they are already a child. That's good. Needs to be that way. Jail every one of them. I don't know if them is like some kind of fancy way of saying them. Like, I don't know if they're trying to speak Old English and just failing, but whatever. It's probably every one of them, even though it says off them. I missed that at first. But to say that women who get an abortion should be jailed is really fucking ridiculous. Because you're not killing a baby, the fetus is in no way a viable child, and for people to promote this false analogy that it is a child, or this false characterization of it as being a child, is just fucking ridiculous. I really don't get those that think that life starts at conception. At conception, it's a fucking single cell, and then it multiplies and it's just a clump of fucking cells. You know, at like 4 weeks, it's just a goddamn walnut. A win for the innocent, voiceless lives today. No, it's not. It's not a win for voiceless lives. It's actually a pretty heavy loss for women in general. Women have lost full rights to their bodies today in Alabama. Now, true, the law hasn't actually gone into effect yet, but if it's not challenged and it actually does go into effect, then women will not have the same amount of rights as men do. We do not have a law on the books that talk about how men, if they don't want children, should get vasectomies or get their balls clipped. We don't have any laws like that. There won't be any laws made like that. You know why? Because these good Christian people want to always blame women for issues that arise, for a woman getting pregnant. It takes two to fucking tango. Thank you, Lord. You know every situation that brings forth a child, and you know how the child is conceived. Everything is all made in your image. Thank you, Alabama, for supporting the Lord's word. Listen, I get that you love Jesus Dick, and God Dick, and possibly Holy Spirit come. But you cannot force people to have children they do not want. This is going to overload the foster children system or the adoption system. Like, it's going to just overload everything. And women are still going to get abortions. They're just not going to be as safe anymore. But I'm guessing that you think that if a woman gets an abortion, she should probably die or be in jail for forever. So you're also pretty much low-key saying that God knows that women get raped and plan for them to get raped and force them to have a kid that they don't want. Like, I don't know. If that's the kind of God your God is, I don't want to fucking know that guy. I also definitely wouldn't suck his dick like you do. Simple as this. Don't want a baby? Then don't lay there and get pregnant. Like, seriously? Why don't you tell the guys to, keep it in their pants or something, too? Like, on top of that. Like, it's not just the woman that's there and decides to get pregnant or something like that. And I've also seen comments surrounding this whole idea that women deceitfully trick guys into getting pregnant. While that does happen on occasion, that is not, like, the rule for women in this situation. Like, that's, like, an exception. It would also be a generalization fallacy for anybody spouting that kind of nonsense. I do hope that this bill does what it intends. Challenge and overturn Roe v. Wade. If we assume that life begins only after birth and not at conception or heartbeat, then this is not a federal matter. It is to be left to each individual state. I don't know how that actually pans out. Like, I don't know why that would make it like a federal matter specifically. Like, I don't get that connection. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know why that matters as far as like federal or state. But in any case, I think that the United States should have like a universal baseline for healthcare in America and a baseline for like basic fucking rights, right? That's what the Civil Rights Act was about. You see this exact same kind of rhetoric surrounding the civil rights debate back in the civil rights era. Like, you see people saying how it should be left up to the states to make the decision as to whether or not, like, segregation's still a thing, or that they have, like, blatant racism in the society in general, or allowed or mandated by law. Like, you have the exact same things being said, it's just a different time and place with a different group of people, women. And now they're wanting to overturn a long-standing decision by the SCOTUS, the Supreme Court. And honestly, it sickens me to think that there are people out there, including women, that want to control women and remove the rights of women so much that it is akin to the Handmaid's Tale. It's akin to Gilead and fucking Handmaid's Tale. And honestly, I'm fairly certain that these people probably just gushed over that fucking series on Hulu. I'm sure they did. Alabama, please ban all things against God. And you see, this is the path that it's headed down. And I really don't think that it's a slippery slope, because you gotta go small in order to get like these sweeping changes made. It's not like in like the Handmaid's Tale, like I just referenced. It's not exactly like, you would be able to stage a revolution and take over the government and take over everything and fuck whatever. You would want to slowly change the system over to a Christian theocracy. And that's really what these people want to do. Rick Wiles recently just said about as much in his podcast, talking about how he's going to institute Christian values, whether you like it or not. So these people definitely want that, and whether or not they actually succeed is up to the rational and reasonable people that are still out there. This has all been from Facebook. I'm wondering, how does the YouTube channel look? Because if you guys don't remember, I actually did a thing a while back, a comments reading, where, I talked about the possible passing of that law, where it's going to get voted on and everything like that. I talked about it before. Let's go to the YouTube channel and see what's going on there. Eric. Fake news! There are many Alabamians who are completely thrilled and ecstatic over the new pro-life law. Babies are finally being protected from fake doctors and hoes that can't keep their pants on. Jesus fucking Christ. I can't go anywhere and not get assaulted visually by this kind of dumb fucking shit. It's not just hoes that are out there getting abortions. This is a basic like health thing that we should that all women should have the right to, and men honestly shouldn't have a say in whether or not they should have the ability to have an abortion. And that's what's sad about this entire thing, is that like most of the people that voted for that particular bill were in fact men. And I say most because all of the senators that voted for it were, of course, men. It was actually a woman that sponsored the bill in the first place to be able to challenge Roe v. Wade. So this is not like a man versus woman type thing or anything like that. This is more like Christian crazy ass right versus rational fucking reasonable people, which would include other Christians, even some Christians on the right, I'm sure. So that's what we're facing here. Crazy ass radical Christian right people versus the rest of the population. Well, anyways, heathens, that's it for today. I hope that you guys will go down below and leave me a comment. As you're down there, make sure you check out the straw poll link. Vote for your favorite dumbass this week. Also, while you're down there, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe if you like this kind of dumbass video. Don't forget to stand up and use your voice, and I will see you heathens later.